Damn, I've been covering this Diddy trial since the raids in Los Angeles and Miami. And I've been covering for my Spanish speaking audience on my other channels the trial when he got arrested, everything. I've been doing this since last March. And I came across this video which has a title that I was like, whoa, what did I miss? So the video is Diddy trial, right? Ex-assistant Mia recalls nightmare with R. Kelly. So, I want to do a little reaction. I want to see it together with you guys, and let's see what they're talking about, because I missed this. In my Spanish-speaking audience, I didn't see this coming. So let's see the video, and let's react to this together.
The sex trafficking trial against Sean Diddy Combs continues right now. Witness testimony entering its fourth week. Joining us live from outside of that courthouse is Associated Press reporter Larry Neumeister, who has been covering this entire case extensively. Larry, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I know you stepped out. You've been inside of the court today. What has happened so far?
Well, it's the third day of testimony by Mia. That's the pseudonym she's going by. She is the second of three women during this expected to be at least 6 week to 2 month trial in which Sean Combs is accused of sexually abusing several women. She is one of three women who are going to be testifying during the trial. And she has said that during her employment for him as a personal assistant from 2000.
It's good to know that supposedly Mia has already been identified by the internet. I haven't seen who she is, but I've heard they were talking about it on the trial, that, people just looked up the person white that worked at Revolt and stuff like that, and they found her. They're posting shit about her on the internet, but I haven't seen it, though.
2008 until 2007, or actually 2009 until 2017, that he first molested her and tried to forcibly kiss her at his 40th birthday party shortly after she got hired, and then months later raped her in a guest room at his home in Los Angeles. And she's been under cross-examination now for 2 days. And while a lot of the lawyers for Sean Combs have been...
Well, to be honest, they came in from last week over to this week. They just finished interrogating her, or counter-interrogating her on Monday. They practically took the whole day. Brian Steele was grilling her left to right. No mercy.
Very friendly with some of the witnesses who reluctantly testified for the government. The lawyer, Brian Steele, has been very aggressive in cross-examining Mia, and even suggested today that she was making up her allegations, which she insisted was not true, that she's only testified truthfully over the last 3 days. But he again and again confronted her with text messages she had sent to Sean Combs after she was no longer working for him, between 2018 and 2023, in which she expressed how much she loved Sean Combs and appreciated how much she'd learned from him, and how her opinions about him would never change. And finally, he asked her directly, how can you say these things? At one point, he even confronted her with a text message in which she said she had a nightmare in which she was in an elevator with the singer R. Kelly, who was convicted of charges and is now serving time in prison.
Okay, I see. She testified that she had a nightmare. Because I was like, whoa, where did this come from? But let's keep listening to the reporter, Larry Neumeister.
Similar charges even to this case. But she said she was in an elevator with R. Kelly in this nightmare, and Sean Combs came and rescued her. So then, his lawyer said, well, how can you make these accusations, against, Sean Combs when you're having a nightmare in which he rescues you from someone else who is a convicted abuser of women? And she said it's because she was brainwashed and that she didn't come out.
Whoa. I guess she wrote this to Diddy, and Diddy kept that shit. Where she said she was having a nightmare, and supposedly R. Kelly was gonna do her some bodily harm, and Diddy came and read. I guess it was a text message, because how else is Brian Steele gonna know about this? But it's logical asking her, how can you be the man that you're now accusing that did this to you, writing him text messages after you don't even work for him no more, talking about you having nightmares, and he's like your hero and stuff like that. It's some freaky shit, man.
Of this until the last year or two, and she said it took therapy and lots of confronting what went on, and for her to change her mind about everything.
That's quite an interesting line of questionary there when we talk about a witness describing a nightmare, so to speak, in a case that is very serious, very sensitive. And
see, like I said, a witness describing a nightmare. But Brian Steele's gonna grill that woman, because remember, this is not his ex-girl Cassie. This is somebody that worked for him as his personal assistant, and she white. Y'all know.
Is viewer discretion advised to anyone that is watching this along with us. Larry, describe to us Diddy's demeanor today in court. How much communication has he had with his lawyers?
Well, lots of communication with the lawyers. He's been very involved, as we've seen day after day, in his defense. Oftentimes, or at least twice that I've seen, he's not allowed his lawyers to finish questioning a witness until he gave the nod of approval. And that's the kind of hands-on involvement in a defense that you don't.
That's Diddy being Diddy. He's even controlling his own lawyers, man. Because I heard that he didn't permit for them to cross-examine, I think, Cassie's mom. He was like, let her go. Don't ask her nothing. Yo, this dude got his ego is gigantic.
I don't normally see from a defendant. So he has been hands-on from the start, though, very involved in his defense and very serious in the courtroom, but also seems someone business-like. You can imagine as you watch him in the courtroom that, yeah, he is the CEO of his companies, and he's a guy who has run successful businesses, as Sean Combs has. So that comes across. The jurors, as always, are extremely attentive, taking notes, facing toward the witness during testimony, no matter who is on the witness stand. It's one of the most alert, pay attention juries I've ever seen.
Larry, we know that the cross-examination of that alleged victim of Diddy continuing on right now. Do we expect that to finish today? And who are we going to hear from next?
Yes, we do expect that to finish today. And it's unclear exactly who will be on the stand next, because there have been some negotiating going on as to whether or not the defense will ultimately call a witness to kind of cast doubt upon these tapes that were shown early in the trial of Cassandra. Cassie is, what she's known as in the music world, but Cassandra Ventura is how she's known more often in the courtroom. And that was Sean Combs' longtime girlfriend for nearly 11 years. And there's a widely seen recording of her being attacked by Sean Combs in a hotel room in 2016. That's really become not a hotel room, I'm sorry, in the elevator back at a hotel in Los Angeles. And it's really become a centerpiece of the evidence in the trial. And so there will be witnesses perhaps testifying further about how that recording came to be and its relevance in the trial and whether...
Well, what the reporter, well, he's saying it already happened. I think it was somebody in the sense of marketing director. I think she works in the Beverly Hills now, Beverly Hills Hotel. But what she was saying, from my notes, they billed Diddy $500 for a cleaning mess, for a oil cleaning mess that he had in the room. Can you imagine that, they charge you $500 to clean up a mess that you left there from baby oil? And the drapes, I don't know what the fuck, if he probably had an inflated swimming pool in there, because Cassie said, that nigga used to have inflated pools filled up with baby oil, and he would have her, dip on that inflatable pool full of baby oil. And he got charged $300 for the drapes that were all torn out of place. So I'm like, you seen those water cannons that they use for little kids? They be playing, throwing water at each other. I'm not talking about those little BB gun water guns. I'm talking about the big, gigantic things that they use now. Were they playing with something like that with baby oil that the hotel had to charge an extra $500 for the cleanup and an extra $300 for the drapes and an additional charge because I don't know if it was a busboy, I don't know if it was a doorman, I don't know who it was, but they had to go out and buy some candles for Diddy. So they also charged them for the errand. Could you imagine? This nigga was on some diabolical shit, man. That's what that witness said, because after they finished with Mia, after Brian Steele finished grilling her, this lady came up, and that's the testimony that she gave, or that's what came out on the transcripts. And then, the jury was released for the day, early. I think at around 3 o'clock, three something. They left early yesterday. So let's continue seeing this video for the next 2 minutes and see what else he got. I just wanted to react to this because that title of the video got me like, whoa, what did I miss? So let's keep looking.
The defense will be attacking its legitimacy, whether it was, properly made and can be trusted and can be relied upon by the jury, which will be deciding whether or not Sean Combs is guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking, charges that could put him behind bars for from 15 years to life if he's actually convicted.
That video that you're talking about, really the catalyst for everything that we're seeing today. Larry, I know you have to get back in there, continuing to cover this, but anything else that you would like to add, maybe something you feel is important to mention as we again enter this fourth week of testimony?
Well, one other way that the defense lawyer was really trying to attack Mia's testimony today was he pointed out that she hired a lawyer who had represented E. Jean Carroll in this very courthouse last year. And during that trial, when E. Jean Carroll had made, allegations against now President Donald Trump. And now once that lawyer began representing her, the lawyers for Combs maintained, then suddenly you wanted to talk about sexual harassment and being raped and things like that, whereas it was all a secret before then in your eyes, and you had never planned to speak of it at all. But throughout that line of question,
Brian Steele was trying to see if this was a money-grabbing testimony. But I remember she said no, that she doesn't plan to do a civil lawsuit.
It was just trying to suggest that she was either making this up entirely, these allegations, or really exaggerating them.
All right, Larry Neumeister, reporter there with the Associated Press. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to be in touch, of course, for the next several weeks as this trial does continue. We'll talk soon. You take care.
Thanks. Bye.
That was good. Thank you, Larry. I just wanted to react to this because when I saw that title, I was like, wait a minute, I've been following this case. When did this happen? It's good that we seen this together and we reacted to the video together. But yeah, I could imagine, the defense lawyers getting paid for that. Remember, he came from representing Young Thug, and he got Young Thug out of a big mess. I don't know if that case is over with because I'm thinking, from what I heard, Young Thug is on probation or something like that. But Diddy said, bring me that man, and that man is doing his job. He's doing what he's getting paid to do. And that's it for today, man. Let's see if we keep, reacting to this. I just activated this channel. I had it for, since last year, but I hadn't been doing nothing with it because I've been concentrating on my Spanish-speaking audience on my other channels. But this is something, that I got to do for my audience, that speak English, and a reaction channel. That's what it's called. So I'll see you on the next video, next reaction video. One love.